just say that you can speak naturally, the mics will pick you up anyway. So the mics
Thank you very much. Later on this evening, we're going to be thanking this international IT effort that has put together this multinational meeting. Thank you very much for patiently waiting. And it's a delight now that we can start the ceremony with the permission of the Vice-Chancellor of BRAC University, Professor Syed Ferhat Anwar. A very warm welcome to this special occasion to launch this joint PhD program between SOAS University of London and BRAC University. This is a moment in the education sector in Bangladesh. I'm based down in the register of BRAC University. Here in Dhaka, we welcome Professor Syed Commission of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Her Excellency Ms. Sarah Cooke, the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom to Bangladesh. Mrs. Nuran Akhtar, Honourable Additional Secretary of the Education Ministry of Bangladesh, will be arriving very shortly. Mr. Stephen Forbes, the Country Director of the British Council, and esteemed representatives both of the British Council and UK Trade and Investment. All distinguished guests and colleagues, both here in Dhaka and in London, were truly honoured by your participation. We're delighted to have this live link to London, where the High Commissioner of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to the United Kingdom, Her Excellency Ms. Abida is the Vice-Chancellor of SOAS, Professor Habib, the Chair of the BRAC University Board of Trustees, Ms. Tamara, and our BRAC University Trustee, Ms. Sadaf Siddiqui, and joining the senior SOAS colleagues. Now I invite our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Ferhat Anwar, to speak, and then to hand over to the Vice-Chancellor of SOAS and our speakers on the
Thank you, David. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to our partners and guests in the UK, and good evening to our guests in the This is indeed a very special occasion as the BRAC University in Bangladesh embarks on an international doctoral program for the first time, of course, in this country. I recognize the gracious presence of our Honourable University Grants Commission Chairman, Professor Faiz, Honourable UK High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Her Excellency Ms. Sarah Cooke, the senior representatives of the Education Ministry of Bangladesh, the diplomatic representatives of the People's Republic of Bangladesh and the United Kingdom, and esteemed colleagues from British Council, alongside our own it's a pleasure to host this event with Professor Habib and our SOAS colleagues joining from London. It is my great honor to announce that the Honourable Chief Advisor, Professor Muhammed, has marked this special occasion by issuing a statement. Professor Yunus sent his greetings, and I quote, "It's a wonderful initiative. I'm very happy to see this academic collaboration between two distinguished Bangladesh and British institutions, SOAS and BRAC University, get off to the ground and wish it a great success." Unquote. We shall use the doctoral quality assurance system of SOAS and the University of London. It is a robust and long-established system. This is an opportunity for us to build our own expertise on the delivery of academic programs at the highest level. You can rest assured we will deliver the best quality learning experience and ensure setting greater standards. Bangladesh has so much to share with the rest of the world. Expertise on poverty alleviation, health, climate change, and disaster management, cultural enrichments, nation building, and how to create a nation national prosperity in one of the most densely populated countries in the world. We share with SOAS our conviction of vitality, of genuine and profound partnership across borders, and the need to bring the insights of global South, the center of the world discourse. This program will have significance beyond Bangladesh and the UK, and will reach out to other parts of Asia, Africa, and beyond. We must ensure that the research under this joint program focuses on issues of global South, which will aim at not only assessing the problems, but must focus on bridging the gap between global North and South. The ultimate purpose must be to build a better world where our next generation can breathe in peace. Thank you and congratulations to all those involved in this initiative.
I'd like to cross to London and invite Professor Habib to speak, and then also to introduce other speakers about SOAS. Thank you very much. Please, Professor Habib.
Thank you, David. Let me start by saying, Your Excellencies, I've got rid of this all of you in Dhaka here. There's just too many of you, David. Ferhat have done a really well acknowledging me. Ferhat has simply said, all protocol observed. I do want to kick off by saying this is a very special moment for me, particularly. About 3.5 years ago, I addressed the board.
Centralized line.
And I spoke at that meeting about this new generation of equitable partnerships that we established. Partnerships that involve joint teaching, joint research, single fees, joint assessments. And I said at that point that the real purpose of these joint partnerships is to recognize that we live in a very unique moment in history, where all of our challenges are transnational in character. Climate change, pandemics, war as we see now. And if we are going to find a way to find solutions to those challenges, either through our teaching and training people, or through our research by knowledge construction, then we need both comparative science and local knowledge. We need understanding the very context around the world, but we also need the comparative experience that has been part of the universal corpus of knowledge. And so bringing that together has been what the purpose of these strategic partnerships are. We have a number of these partnerships in other parts of the world, but it is the first that we have in Dhaka. We particularly proud that it is with BRAC in this regard. I do want to say one other thing. When you would have seen over the weekend that increasingly parts of our world are going to war. At the moment in history when we increasingly are reliant on collaboration, on the coming together of the human community to address the transnational challenges of our time. That is the very moment in history where the human community is fractured. And if we continue to fracture, we will not survive as a human species. And it is absolutely essential that we as a human community start learning to cohere together. And I can't imagine a better instrument to start this process than the universities themselves. Universities, by their very nature, are cosmopolitan creatures. They bring people from around the world within their boundaries. And both through what they teach in the classroom, through the research that they do, but also in the interactions that they facilitate. They learn, they teach people to learn to live with each other in peace. And that's fundamentally what the purpose of our equitable partnership is. SOAS is, at its heart, a university in London, but whose mandate is Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. We don't want to simply study those areas. We want to study the global challenges, but from the perspective of the peoples of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. But we can't do that from London. We need to do it in partnership with the institutions of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. And this is precisely why we're building this joint transnational PhD program. This is why we're building other master's programs with institutions in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. And so what we're trying to do is facilitate a bridge between universities to enable a common learning, a bridge to bring the knowledge of the South and the knowledge of the North in conversation with each other to address the challenges of the time, but hopefully a bridge to unite the human community at a moment when it's fracturing and it comes at the cost of us all. And so, for us, that's what this partnership is really about. And we cannot think of a better partner than BRAC in such a partnership. And I can't think of a better set of individuals, both here and in Dhaka, with whom to launch this initiative. So I do want to say, from my perspective, from my office, as Vice-Chancellor, from the executive, on behalf of our board at SOAS, and on behalf of all of the institutions, higher education institutions in the UK, we are particularly keen on enabling and growing relationships with universities in Bangladesh. With that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Professor Mr. Khan, who is Professor of Economics at SOAS University, and has been at the very core of building this partnership.
Thank you, Madam, and thank you, Excellencies and honored guests. It is a huge honor to talk today on this new path that we are entering. And as Hasan said, it's a moment both of global conflicts, but also a moment of hope. And 2024 was a moment of hope for Bangladesh. There was an uprising in which millions of people came out to start a new beginning. And that demand was, we need to build a new Bangladesh. And that demand for new Bangladesh inspired all of us studying and researching, because we saw the talent and the bravery of our youth. And myself have been completely overwhelmed by that. And I think that SOAS has this huge progressive history. And I must say that in Bangladesh, the private universities and BRAC had a fundamental role in that uprising. Because after the public universities had been shut down and the students had been sent out, the private universities, like BRAC, like East West, like many others, came out. And I'm going to embarrass my friend Dave by saying Dave is a folk hero. He might not like that, he might be superly embarrassed by that, but I don't care, I'll put it out. Dave stood up for his students, and he was one of the few people who said, I will stand with the students and they will be protected. And I go to university after university and they say, you know, that registrar of BRAC University, that foreigner, you know, he really stood up for us. And he's a folk hero. So it's a great honor to be associated with people like this. And I know that BRAC represents that progressive spirit in Bangladesh of applied research, of research that changes lives. And our journey with BRAC began. I and Naomi and others have been working with BRAC for a long time. We have a very big research partnership with BRAC as part of the FCDO funding. So I'm mentioning FCDO because Sarah Cooke is in the audience. So we have this big project on anti-corruption evidence, in which has been, and BIGD has been a partner. So my conversations on this PhD program began with my friend Imran Mateen, I'm pleased to see is sitting there. And we started talking about how to construct a joint program because Habib had announced that we need to decolonize education. We need to find a new costing model which will bring down the costs by using partnerships with southern universities with a no cross-subsidy but based on their actual costs. How can we reduce the costs for students? And I think we've shown that it can be done. And it can be done, and not only is this a partnership which is going to build capacity both at SOAS and at BRAC University, is also dramatically reducing the costs of doing a PhD for a student in Bangladesh or indeed anywhere in the world who wants to join this program. And I am really proud of that, and we need to do much more of that. In fact, we have planned to set up something called a Global Bangladesh Studies Center, and Naomi is coordinating that. We are going to try to raise money which will actually set up scholarships so that even this reduced fee can be covered for some of the best students from Bangladesh. And that's going to be a task because funding now is very difficult. But we want to raise this Global Bangladesh Studies at SOAS, which will be linked to this PhD program, but also other programs. So we have very big plans going forward, and BRAC University will be part of those plans. We already have a partnership with C3ER and Professor Abida on doing climate adaptation research. We have many different projects going forward, and we will deepen this partnership. I think I will stop here, but I think that the time is right for a new beginning for Bangladesh, for SOAS, for the world. This is a very small step, but I have met so many students in Bangladesh with their ideas about how to build a new Bangladesh, how to improve governance, how to undertake reforms. And that is not just a process for this government and its interim nature, is going to be the task of the next 10, 15 years. And having research programs where we can find ways of doing feasible governance and improvements which improve people's lives, new ways of delivering services effectively. That is the future, and I think we need to respond to that. Thank you, everyone, and I will pass it back to Abed.
Thank you, Mr. I'm going to move over to Tamara, Abed, Chair of the Board of Trustees at BRAC University. Tamara, please.
Thank you. Honorable Chairman of the University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, Professor Faiz, Her Excellencies, Ms. Abida Islam, High Commissioner of Bangladesh to the UK, and Ms. Sarah Cooke, the UK Commissioner to Bangladesh, Vice-Chancellors of SOAS, Professor Habib, and of BRAC University, Professor Ferhat Anwar, distinguished guests and colleagues. It's wonderful to be part of this very special moment in the history of higher education in Bangladesh, where BRAC University is going to be the first private university which will be able to grant PhDs, and how better than to be able to do that jointly with SOAS. From the start of our discussions with SOAS 2 years ago, you have emphasized your commitment to rethink the dynamic of international collaboration, creating equitable partnerships that build capacity in developing countries and then recognize the vitality of the ideas and expertise coming from the global south. The era of knowledge, moving in one direction from north to south, is over. Knowledge transfer will be happening in both directions, and that is exactly where the School of Oriental and African Studies is the ideal partner for this initiative. We are glad to be part of this initiative that also helps SOAS to fulfill its mission. And in fact, this is also at the heart of our strategy at BRAC University. The university is part of the BRAC movement, which is the largest development organization in the South, and has been known for fundamentally doing development differently and effectively in its scale. BRAC's significant impact over more than half a century in Bangladesh and also in Africa and other parts of Asia is well recognized. BRAC University is a key part of this BRAC ecosystem and was created to generate knowledge and leadership capability from the global south. This PhD scheme is the result of detailed discussions between our two institutions over these 2 years, where we wanted to create a high-quality PhD scheme backed by a robust international quality assurance framework. SOAS and BRAC have had a long-standing academic relationship for over a decade, primarily through the BRAC Institute of Governance and Development and the Department of Economics and the Department of Development Studies at SOAS University of London. Drawing on complementary academic strengths and branded field expertise, this collaboration has produced rigorous empirical research that informs both national and policy debates and global development discourse. The sustained nature of this partnership reflects shared commitment to evidence-based research and promoting inclusive and accountable development. That is how academic partnerships grow best, through deep academic connections and shared global interests. You have brought your commitment to equity and access into the PhD scheme, with the fees charged at the UK home rate instead of the much higher overseas rate. That and the hybrid and flexible model through the study will make the PhD program a realistic prospect for students in Bangladesh and other developing countries. We hope to work together in the coming years to raise funds for scholarships to assist the development of the PhD program. We are deliberately starting small with just 3 students and addressing our shared strengths in development studies. There is clear potential to scale up the program and to help build larger international connections, creating new capacity for research and faculty. Let me end by expressing my deepest thanks to the Honorable Education Advisor of Bangladesh, Anwar, and the Ministry of Education, the University Grants Commission under the leadership of Professor Faiz, the British High Commission and British Council in Bangladesh, and our trustees and colleagues working behind the scenes without whom this would not happen. To all of them, we are deeply grateful. Distinguished guests from BRAC University and SOAS University of London, Professor Commission, Professor Syed Anwar, Vice-Chancellor BRAC University, Professor Habib, Vice-Chancellor SOAS University, Ms. Tamara, representative of the British Council, esteemed academics and colleagues, good afternoon to you all. It's a true honor to be here today, the launch of the joint transnational PhD program in the political economy of development and exciting and forward collaboration with SOAS University of London and BRAC University, Bangladesh. My warmest congratulations to both institutions on reaching this significant milestone in little over 2 years' time. This program is more than just academic initiative. It represents a missionary partnership by combining the academic strength and research excellence of these 2 distinguished institutions. It sets a new benchmark for bilateral and international academic cooperation. I am particularly encouraged by the program's mission to nurture a new generation of development scholars, scholars who reach the knowledge divide between the global south and the global north. In today's increasingly complex global landscape, the opportunity for students to engage with diverse intellectual traditions and gain field-based experience across 2 continents is not only valuable but essential. This program will equip them with the critical, context-sensitive and solutions-oriented skills required to address the pressing development challenges of our time. This initiative also represents a meaningful step in deepening educational ties between Bangladesh and the United Kingdom. It reflects our shared commitment to inclusive, high-quality and globally relevant higher education that transcends borders. Collaboration like this enrich our bilateral relationship, broadens opportunities for students and researchers, and innovation, dialogue, and mutual understanding, all of which are vital for sustainable global progress. I am confident this program will flourish and produce graduates who will make significant contributions to the field of development and to our societies at large. I sincerely hope
This marks the beginning of many such transformative initiatives. Congratulations once again to all involved, and thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. David, we back to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Habib. It's partly through a long-standing relationship between SOAS and BRAC Institute of Governance and Development that we're now launching this PhD program. Inviting Dr. Muhammed, the Executive Director of BRAC Institute of Governance and Development, to share his reflections.
Excellencies, due protocol observed. It gives me great excitement to be here today because this started off in the base of the conversation and a challenge that Professor Habib posed to Professor Mushtaq Khan and myself at a meeting in London at SOAS. And I think since then we've been working on this with a lot of support from Dave Dowden, the Vice-Chancellor, and Arifai is here as well. And I think there's been a lot of very, very hard work that has gone into from our side to make this possible. And of course, I must acknowledge the leadership of our Education Advisor and Honorable UDC Chair who have made this happen. Because I think this is a landmark, not only in terms of higher education in Bangladesh, but I think in terms of equitable knowledge partnership that is really required for not only for the global south, but for the whole world. Because we really are in a fragmenting context, and unless we really come together fast to create knowledge and solutions, we are doomed. So I think this is, from that point of view, extremely important in terms of creating an example of equitable partnership I hope can be followed. I also want to kind of also talk about a bit about, though this is a great beginning, I think we need to really push forward, particularly globalizing the whole area of global knowledge that includes academic programs and research, because I think Bangladesh particularly needs, and the whole world also can benefit from, a much more of a supportive global approach to knowledge production. And I think our respected UDC Chair, I would really urge on him to leave behind a legacy that he has already started through this, to really create a supportive and conducive environment where Bangladesh can claim its rightful place in the world in terms of global knowledge and global knowledge partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Metin. We're conscious of the encouragement for international partnership development that has come from the UK High Commission and from the British Council. And now it's a pleasure to invite Her Excellency Ms. Sarah Cooke, the British High Commissioner for Syed.
Honourable Vice-Chancellors, Honourable Chair of the UGC, distinguished guests, colleagues, Assalamu alaikum and Shubh. It's an honour to join you today for the launch of a truly landmark initiative, the joint PhD programme between SOAS University of London and BRAC University. This really is a moment of pride for the broader UK-Bangladesh education partnership. Let me begin by warmly congratulating SOAS University of London and BRAC University for your vision and leadership in pioneering this programme. This is the first joint PhD of its kind by a private university in Bangladesh, and it sets, I think, a very powerful precedent. I would also like to acknowledge the vital support of the University Grants Commission and the Ministry of Education of Bangladesh, whose commitment to academic excellence and innovation has made this possible. As we've heard, this programme is more than a partnership. It's a flagship model of transnational education. It reflects the shared ambition of our two countries to expand access to world-class education, promote research excellence, and build bridges between institutions, scholars, and societies. The United Kingdom has long been a committed partner in Bangladesh's higher education journey. Through the British High Commission in Dhaka and the British Council, we have worked to strengthen institutional ties, support regulatory reform, and promote innovation in teaching and research. The recent British Council research report on transnational education highlighted the immense potential of such collaborations. It shows joint programmes like this one not only enhance academic quality, but also build institutional capacity, support national development goals, and elevate the global visibility of Bangladeshi research. This is why our trade envoy to Bangladesh, Baroness Rosie Winston, has encouraged a more enabling environment for transnational education here in Bangladesh. And just last week, when the Honourable Chief Advisor was in London, he met with our Secretary of State for Business and Trade, and they had a very big discussion on how to promote transnational education opportunities between our two countries. And we are encouraged by the UGC's ongoing review of the cross-border higher education route and look forward to unlocking even more opportunities for collaboration. Today's launch is also a testament to what can be achieved when working together, driven by shared ambition. And it's a call to action to the education community. Let's continue to deepen academic partnerships, invest in research that address global challenges, and empower the next generation of scholars to be agents of knowledge, innovation, and impact. So I'd really like to thank everybody involved in making this new partnership a reality. Thanking the Vice-Chancellors, Professor Syed, Ferhat, Anwar, and Professor Habib, and also University Grants Commission, the Ministry of Education, and my team in the High Commission and colleagues in the British Council. To the future PhD candidates of this programme, you are at the heart of this endeavour. May your research journeys be bold, your discoveries meaningful, and your contributions lasting. Thank you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, High Commissioner. Now requesting the Chairman of the University Grants Commission, Professor Syed Muhammed Abed Faiz, to address this transnational issue. Thank you.
Chancellor of BRAC University here, Vice-Chancellor of SOAS University, Excellency the High Commission, British High Commissioner to Bangladesh, and I find the whole team from the British Council here. My colleagues from BRAC University, our colleagues from SOAS, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a pleasure, a special pleasure for me, because of my background in UK. When I was doing my PhD in late 1970s to 1970s, many years ago. And I know how wonderful British education is. And I must thank Professor Mustaq for mentioning about the talent, the potentiality of our young generation. The whole world looked at them with wonder and awe. They're indeed highly talented. And I also must thank all of the students of BRAC University, the support extended by the BRAC University Authority in this great role that the students played, along with the teachers, the whole mass. Yesterday is a beginning. It's a wonderful beginning. I think this will flourish. Now it's between BRAC University and SOAS. Tomorrow it will be some other university here in Bangladesh and some other university in UK. And definitely the University Grants Commission is really happy to be involved in this process. And I must also mention about the role of the education advisor, and he talked to me. He requested me if it is possible that I can expedite the process. Probably the very day we worked on it. And he mentioned about the interest of the Honorable Chief Commissioner in this particular program. And Excellency mentioned about the standard of education that University of London we work in. Yes, we are working very sincerely. And probably this higher education acceleration transformation, we call it people. The British Council may be involved in some areas, probably. I'm not very sure about it. So, yes, before I conclude, just 4 sentences. Congratulations, BRAC University. Congratulations, SOAS University. Thank you very much, BRAC University. Thank you very much, SOAS University. Thank you, Allah.
Thank you very much, sir. At this point, we return to colleagues in London and invite Professor Adam Habib and Ms. Tamara Abed to sign and exchange the legal agreement, thereby launching this joint PhD program. And you may like to accompany the signature with your applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay. We'll be back to you. I should say, perhaps quickly before we end, I'm here thanking you to all of the people on your side, and BRAC for all of the initiatives over the last 18 months, 2 years. In particular, thank you to the people on our side, Naomi and Mushtaq, and colleagues on the SOAS side, International Partnerships team, Kanina, for putting on the energy in the work, and a particular thank you to our college for facilitating this, and to the team, Elisa. Perhaps also I should thank both the British Council for all of the assistance they've given, and the University Grants Commission, and both of the High Commissioners who at various moments played important roles. So thank you very much to all of the parties. We're back to you, David.
Thank you. Well, Professor Habib, colleagues have just asked if you and Ms. Abed would kindly hold up the memo of the actual thing for a photograph. Thank you. Thank you so much. I gather they're satisfied. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Habib and Ms. Abed. As this ceremony comes to a close, it's time for final reflections and to offer a vote of thanks on behalf of the SOAS BRAC University PhD Working Group. There are several themes to the celebration: high-quality partnerships, the creation of a PhD scheme that will be affordable and flexible through hybrid delivery opportunities to live and study in London or here in Bangladesh. It's highly flexible. And also the importance of equitable international partnerships across hemispheres, rather than partnerships that lead to brain drain. Professor Habib, you have spoken many times about that. For example, in the London Guardian newspaper just a few years back, Professor Habib wrote, "By accelerating the brain drain in Africa and Asia, we are weakening their institutional capacities. It means places like hospitals and universities Trustees won't be able to deal with huge challenges like pandemics, climate change and inequality. That article in The Guardian encouraged us to contact SOAS about deepening the institutional partnership. And instead, what you are replacing that vision with is a much more flourishing vision. Not brain drain, but brain circulation. Genuine exchange across countries is the basis of enduring partnerships in higher education to mutual benefit, including the communications, operational and IT departments, the Vice-Chancellor's staff and registry. And finally, once again, profound appreciation to the Ministry of Education, to the University Grants Commission of Bangladesh, the UK High Commission, the British Council, and all those who have encouraged this partnership, driven by shared interest in building a high-quality and internationally connected higher education sector that brings vigorous, compelling and sustainable responses to world social challenges. Now at this point, I'd like to ask our Director of Communications, Clara Basha, to come forward and organise a commemorative photograph of everyone here. I gather this doesn't involve anyone standing up at all. It's going to stand up there. Thank you very much, please.
Our cameraman will go and take a photo from outside view and try to be as much careful as possible. It's a great occasion, right? Don't look gloomy, alright? JP on the photo.
Yes, let's get another chair.
Okay. Mustafa, just everybody you too. Come in, man. There's a photograph here. You can come in.
So the first round is done. Now I will invite our dignitaries and honorable guests and the project team for this program from Dhaka to be on the stage. Then switch over to the backdrop that we will do. Or they need it, the guests.
PhD working group.
Could you please switch over to the backdrop that we will do? One light, please.
Everyone at this event in Dhaka to go now to the exhibition gallery on the second floor for a short reception and refreshments. Our colleagues on hand to help the others find a way to the exhibition gallery, which is just a short walk. Thank you very much. That closes the ceremony. Thank you so much, Anwar.